Hey, what's up, you amazing hackers? Hope you're all doing well today. Welcome back to the channel. So I came across this article, Vulnerability Management isn't scalable, but bug bounty programs are, and I wanted to shed light on another darker side of bug bounties. I wanted to highlight the problems with bug bounties. Now, first of all, some assumptions there. You can love something and criticize it at the same time to point out its flaws in hopes that it can grow better. I'm only going to highlight those negatives in order for bug bounty programs to hopefully improve. And I know this is something that everybody needs to realize. You have the corporate world, that is potentially where this article has its perspective. Then you have the bug bounty platform's perspective as well, who needs to make money, who needs to exist, but also needs hackers. And then you have the hackers themselves. So those three have sometimes they have conflicting advantage points. So some might have a particular advantage with something that conflicts with the other's viewpoints. I also want you to realize that there's a lot of focus on these bad news, bad things about bug bounties, and you see it all over Twitter. But the thing is, as well, that some of these things are just more easy to notice. Like negative things are always easier to notice. So that's why you potentially see it more often as well. All of that being said, I also have one more assumption to make, and that is that you have good and bad apples everywhere. With that, I'd like to get into my first point, being that big platforms often employ a lot of workers, some good, some less good. You have good apples in the bunch, you have bad apples in the bunch, and this goes both ways because you have people representing the hackers, but you also have people representing the companies at these bug bounty platforms. I know that every industry has its ups and its downs, but I also want you to realize that we can do something about it. I'll get more into that later. It's also hard to get paid full time to do bug bounties, and that has multiple reasons. Really simple. Everybody wants to do bug bounties, but companies don't pay out until they actually take on that bug and etc. Your bug might be triaged, but that still doesn't mean it's accepted, etc. It's hard, it's unpredictable. Consistency of payouts is not the best. Let's just keep it at that. With that, I also want to note that the payouts are simply low compared to the impact that these vulnerabilities sometimes provide. I think that people are grossly underpaid. I'm looking at you, Red Bull. I kind of don't like the fact that there's this big companies out there that have a bug bounty program that don't offer a monetary reward. That is my next point, is that this is sometimes seen as free labor by these bug bounty, by these programs. They see it as free labor because they think we can get coverage that way, and some don't even pay out for bugs. They might send you a t-shirt or whatever, like, yeah, big whoop, as if a t-shirt's going to feed my family, bro. That's just not acceptable in my opinion. It's vulnerability disclosure programs. While it's good that they exist, I think that if you offer a reward, I'm good that you offer at least something, but please let it be more than just a few trays of your own product. Thanks, really appreciate that. Another thing is that luck is also just sometimes not on our side. And you might say, Uncle Red, nothing to do with luck, bug bounties, it's a totally different world, but I beg to differ. Luck does come into play sometimes. You have good months and you have bad months. So it's hard, again, back to that predictability a little bit. It's harder to get paid out properly, to get paid out fully. Now, all of this is a commission-based world. Let's be realistic. We all know this. It's pretty much a commission-based world because you get paid for what you find. There's nothing wrong with having a commission-based world. But the problem is that in a commission-based world, it often works a little bit differently, because when we have a problem like this, we can go to hacker mediation, for example. But let's be real, hacker mediation, it helps in some cases, but how often have you contacted hacker mediation, if you've contacted them at all, of course, and been ghosted by them because a problem couldn't be resolved? And you might say, oh, I might be a hacker remediation person. That's like, I'm not singling out you, definitely not, but I have had some bad experiences with hacker remediation myself, where we did find a vulnerability and I was going to report it. I reported it. There was a big whoop with the triagers and the vulnerability, etc. So I went to hacker remediation and it didn't get solved, which kind of sucks. Now, I'm not one to only complain. I also like to talk about solutions. As for solutions, when it comes to this, I think we should be able to rate our triagers. Now, bear with me, I know that there might be grievers, but figure it the hell out, that's not my problem. Like, let's be realistic here. You're $1 million bug bounty platform, millions of dollars, I don't know how much these platforms make, and you really want to tell me that you can't find a way to deal with griefers? It's much better than zero, which is what we have right now. And I think that if some of these platforms are able to rate us as hackers, that we should be able to rate them as well. So that is one thing that I'd like to put forward, that bug bounty platforms introduce. It can help greatly. I also think that pay for time is a great way of doing this as well, because you do get certain coverage and you as a bug bounty platform would have enough expertise to set up a comprehensive test plan and of course allow for exploratory testing. Like you can still allow for that bug bounty part where it's like, I don't know, like 10-20%, like a little bit of time for that exploratory testing as well. Just keep that in, but also allow other options there where people can just submit work, because we don't even have that option now. Let it be a first come, first serve, first person to grab the work to be done, the better. And of course, you can have them pass a test before they can take on any work. Like, don't let them blindly take on work. That would be idiotic. But it really helps, in my opinion, if you give these people a more sustainable perspective to keep them on board as hackers as well. It's another a little pet peeve of mine is I think that the influx and outflux of hackers on these bug bounty platforms is quite big, and that these bug bounty platforms often need to put a lot of resources into onboarding new hackers, where they can also put resources into retaining hackers, of course. Last option or last thing that I would like to put forward is that resolution is required for accountability reasons, whereas like if something goes wrong, a ticket should be opened, that ticket should be closed at least. That will stop us from being ghosted. And I think that it wouldn't be too bad to force a response time from the companies you onboard as a bug bounty platform. Of course, I know that you have to make money as well, but you can be a little bit selective in that selection process. And if the response times just don't meet expectations, I think it is as important to be as selective of your bug bounty programs as you are of your hackers. If you're watching and you have a bug bounty platform, that's freaking awesome. Don't listen to me. I'm just a little rat. I just have my own opinions, but do some broader research, and maybe I hope I have been able to give you guys a little bit of insights or a little bit of things that you can look into. For everybody else, please don't be discouraged to get into bug bounties. It's still a wonderful profession with a lot of upsides, but I do think it is fair to criticize the things that I've noticed which aren't as stellar. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, amazing hackers.